Welcome Boost You, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren Blackbird and today we are going to be doing my makeup while I answer some questions that you guys sent in to me. I know it took me a minute to really get to do this, but I've been really busy, okay? I'm still working through the whole visa immigration process. Despite being approved, it's just a whole bunch of bureaucracy. I did just have my 20th birthday and my best friend got me this Ozzy Osbourne palette, so I think I'm going to be using this one today. What spell was the most difficult to do mentally or physically? What's the biggest spell you've done or a spell you're most proud of? Ooh, so actually, I just got booked with this one again. It is the Sword of Dardanos. It says it is the most powerful love spell in existence. First step is I have to cut down a mulberry tree. I had to do that one time before. Do you know how hard it is to chop down a tree with an axe? Oh my god. Second, you have to carve a statue of Lord Eros, the son of Aphrodite. Also have to hand carve an amulet made of a breathing stone, which is just an ancient magnetite. Greeks thought magnets had like a certain life or breathing force to them because they'd repel or attract things. So in this case, you'd need one that would attract. So you would carve Psyche, Eros, and Aphrodite onto it with some sacred vowels and incantations. Words. Oh, hi! Oh, hello! This is my cat, Sekhmet. Take a little break from my eye makeup. Not doing too bad so far. I got deeply hooded eyes, so. And then you also need to boil down beeswax in a cauldron over a fire, and then mix in red ochre, hand sculpt a statue of Ares stabbing a woman or a man, depending on who the couple is, a man and a woman, a man and a man, a woman and a woman, and subjugating the other one. And then you have to carve a bunch of secret magical names into the beeswax statues. And then it is a complex ritual that takes me personally about 2 months to complete, if not 3 to 4. She hopped out of my lap, and there she is. I don't know if you guys can see her. Yeah. Next question. What are your favorite Woola Woola movies? I need recommendations. Oh, I got you. And what are your favorite movies that are about witchcraft or the occult? Okay. Any sapphic movie in general. I really love lesbian movies, but there's not a lot that are good that have like happy endings. But I personally, and I know everyone and their mother recommends this one, but it's for a good reason. But I'm a cheerleader, okay? Just trust me. It's the only one that has like a really nice ending. That being said, I also really love Bound with Jennifer Tilly. I just love Jennifer Tilly in all honesty. If you really like hot masks and like lesbians running away together, that is the movie for you. I know this isn't officially like a Woola Woola movie, but I think it is. Jennifer's body. Look, you cannot tell me that Needy and Jennifer were not in love, okay? That is like some toxic, like, friendship, okay?
I am going to eat your soul and shit it out,
As far as my favorite movies about the occult, the occult has never really been represented in media very accurately, unfortunately. There are some great critiques on New Age traditions, like The Love Witch. I do have a full deep dive about that planned for this channel, by the way. And Hereditary. I do like that one. I wouldn't say it's extremely accurate, like the whole King Payman needs a vessel on Earth, not true, but it's good. It's damn good. How has living in the Netherlands been for you? Any culture shocks, good or bad? What are the biggest differences between living in the US versus the Netherlands? There's a lot. I don't even know where to begin. There is so much. Let me take off my shoes. People here are a lot more normal. Not that being weird is a bad thing. I'm a very weird person, right? But people here aren't nearly as hateful, as violent, as like randomly violent or hateful as they are in America. I feel safe going outside here. You can even walk around out at night safely here. I've never had that. Even living in the countryside in America, I've never had that. That was a big culture shock for me, is how safe it is. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. Absolutely nowhere's going to be perfect, right? But in my experience, holy shit, it's like night and day. I would say the biggest difference is things are just calmer. People take their time here. There's not like such an emphasis on rushing to get things done, rushing to work. That's also a big thing. There is not a huge like work culture here. Most people don't live to work, they work to live. It's such a different dynamic. I see people when I go out to town running errands, like in between me working, because I work like 18 hours a day. When I'm going running errands, I just see people like even older people just walking around, taking taking your time, going slow. People look at me crazy when I'm rushing, like quick, right? People don't like drink their coffee on the go or eat on the go or eat in their cars because there's no need to rush. And it's so nice. The last big difference that I really enjoy is that the Netherlands is not extremely car centric. And that was like a huge shock to me. There are parts in the towns here where cars are not even allowed to go. Like imagine like cobblestone streets and like vehicles are not allowed on them. People can just walk along the streets or bike along them. The most you're gonna get is some asshole on like a one of those, what do they call them, like fat bikes. Like the public transportation here is so easy to use. Even though I don't really understand Dutch too well, I think I made that wing too big. I'm gonna have to go in and clean that up. But even though I don't understand Dutch too well yet, getting there. The public transportation is still super easy to figure out, and it's just so nice. It's so nice. Everything is so nice here. Don't make me go back. Please don't make me go back. Biggest lessons I've learned from my past. Now, some of you know about my past. I don't even really know where to begin on this. I guess it's the issues with trust. You have to know who to trust in this life, right? There have been times, surprisingly, where I have, I've actually had trust for people despite everything I've been through and everything I've survived. What I survived as a child, the homelessness, everything in between. I still have this problem where I'll see people through rose-colored glasses, or I want to see the best in people, and I'll ignore my own intuition, and then it ends very badly, either in a disaster or where the person tries to hurt me or someone else. And that is one of the most difficult lessons I've had to learn, is you can't trust everyone, even if you want to. Even if you really do think they're a good person, you have to be very careful when you're meeting people, right? Not everyone is going to have good intentions. Even if they do at first have good intentions, that can always change. And that was a very difficult lesson for me to learn. How do people perceive you in the Netherlands as a goth? I will say I get a lot of stares, especially from older people. Younger people don't really care that much. I did get barked at by some kids for like the first time in my life, but they were like 12. I think it's more embarrassing to bark at someone in public than to dress like this anyways. But I get some mixed reactions, even just like the tattoos and stuff. Like, I got a lot of tattoos. I'm about to get some more tomorrow. But even just like that, I get like a lot of weird looks. Here, people here are very homogenous in style. It's a very singular style. Think like capris, jeans, white sneakers, button downs. There are some alternative people here. I've seen them, especially punks. Most of the alternative people you see are going to be coming from Germany. It's like right across the border, right? The answer is I get some weird looks, but I actually don't get anyone, trying to spit on me, no one trying to hurt me. I do get some weird, like, men trying to hit on me when I'm in Amsterdam specifically, only in Amsterdam. But besides that, it's a lot better than the reactions I got in America. I used to live in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Like, I lived all over America, but if I can last in a small redneck town in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, I can survive out here. What's the most crazy side quest you do or side quest you never tell online? Sorry if it's an uncomfortable question. There's some stuff I cannot say legally speaking that I do. Maybe I could speak in hypotheticals. I used to do clarification that I used to do. How to answer this one? I don't know if I can answer this one, guys. I'm sorry. I was homeless for many years, and I did end up getting involved with some dangerous people. So that is why I really can't speak on it. Again, let's use our imaginations. Close your eyes and you can make your assumptions, okay? But I've left all of that behind me, especially now that I've left America. They're a lot better outside of America. Although I will say a really funny side quest I've done was become a magician's assistant. And no, not the kind of magic that I do. I mean like a literal magician's assistant. I was like strapped to one of like those big wheels and I had like knives thrown at me. This is before I started social media though, so I don't have like a lot of pictures and videos. If I can find some of the pictures, I will put them here. If not, I'll just fucking put a picture of some lady that's doing it. But interesting experience. That was an interesting side quest. I've had a lot of weird, odd jobs over the years. I used to be a janitor, a nanny. I used to work, again, as the magician's assistant at Ren fairs. I used to be a stripper. No, there's like a lot of shit I've done. Name it, I've probably done it. Used to be a docent at a museum. I don't know. I would love to know more about your questionable income over the years, because that's relatable as fuck. Literally just talking about that. Again, I have to be very careful with how I say this. Yeah, there's some parts I can't say. I'm not ashamed of being a I actually kind of miss the dancing. The dancing and, dressing up in like those little cute girly outfits and stuff and putting on makeup. That's why I know how to set my makeup very well, by the way. I don't miss the clientele. I actually kind of hated it. I don't I'm a lesbian. Okay, peep the flag behind me. You can guess why I didn't like that job. Clients would get like a little too handsy. Even if they weren't supposed to do it at the club, they would do that a lot, okay? I just didn't like that part of it. I had to quit. I was making pretty damn good money, but I had to quit. So that's one of the sketchier jobs that I can legally speak about. Can I talk about? I mean, I used to be a dominatrix. I don't know if YouTube would let me talk about that though. Probably not. How have I been able to cope through all that has happened to you? Ooh, you guys came in with some heavy questions, huh? I don't mind answering. It's difficult. It's stuff, you know, that you don't usually want to think about. Before I answer that, I'm probably just gonna go with silver, but I really, really want to use this new eyeshadow palette, okay? Here's where I out myself as a little bit of a Dexter fan. Not a little bit, like majorly. Oh my god, the Trinity one has like the blood on it. That's really funny. I want to use this very sparingly because I really like this palette. Here we go. Let's see how good this is compared to the Mehron Silver pigment. It's right here. It's usually what I use for my eyes, but we'll see how good this is. But how have I been able to cope through everything I've been through? A lot of it's dissociation. See, that is actually really nice. It's hard. I would say on a daily basis, I spend about 40% of every single day of my life crying about what happened. There are some days that I don't think I can make it through. It's been over 20 years since I survived those things that happened to me. And I can't sleep at night because of them. I've never really been able to sleep at night because of them. And I very rarely talked this openly about it. But to survive something, you're not ever gonna be the same person. And unfortunately, it happened to me so young that I never got to know who I would have been without this kind of pain. And that's a hard thing to learn to live with. It makes you feel so disconnected from everyone around you because how could anyone possibly understand without having gone through the same thing that you have, right? So you feel very isolated a lot of your life, and it's hard. The isolation really eats away at you. Magic has really helped me feel like I reclaimed my own power, my own sense of autonomy and agency over my own life, my own destiny when everything had been ripped away from me, right? And it feels like it's also given me community. And now that I have like this platform to be able to speak has helped me really work through that trauma of having my voice ripped away from me like that, of having everything taken from me. Being able to talk about these things, being able to raise awareness, and being able to even practice magic, as silly as that might sound to people, you know, who don't believe in magic. Like, I don't care if you believe in it, but it's helped me a lot. I don't think I would still be here today without any of that. It's hard. It's still hard every single day, and I think it's gonna be hard every single day for the rest of my life, which is sad, but it's the truth. But it helps to talk about. That's how I've been coping, is working through it bit by bit by bit. Instead of ignoring it and repressing those emotions and those memories, I've been trying to work through them. I noticed in repressing the memories, it just ends up coming out in really weird ways, and you do not want that to happen. Here's a little bit of a lighter one. Do you read Marvel DC comics or watch the movies? And if so, who is your favorite character? Okay, before I answer, what do we think of the eyeshadow? Again, I'm going to be cleaning up these like little black areas, but overall, I think the silver is really nice. It kind of matches my hair. Yes, I used to actually be a huge Marvel nerd. Hold on, wait. I actually have something here to prove it. Putting on my glasses. Hold on. I keep in here my movie tickets over the years, and haha, the Avengers opening day. What year is this? 2015. This is 10 years old. Look at it. The Avengers opening day from 2015. Officially a comic book nerd. I was in comic book club in high school. I'm not as obsessed with Marvel anymore, mostly because I feel like they kind of just overdid it with the movies and stuff. The comics are still pretty okay. I like the Thor comics. I really liked the Loki series, like the Loki TV series as well. That was like very refreshing as far as like the Marvel TV series go. Sometimes they're kind of boring, but I really tried to get into Agatha all along. I just couldn't do it. You guys told me that like King Payman or one of the kings or the Goetic demons were mentioned in it. I couldn't get past like episode 2. It was so slow. Could you talk about how you figured out you were a lesbian? Yeah. Also, I don't have a girlfriend. No. My love life is complicated. I may or may not have moved to my ex-girlfriend's country. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just a lesbian. It's just tragically.
Laugh out loud.
I realized I was a lesbian actually 10 years ago. This is my 10-year anniversary this year. It just passed in June. I think it was like June 23rd. I realized while I was at a anime convention, I know, I used to go to anime conventions, okay? I was cosplaying a certain blue hair, mulleted person, and I ran into another cosplayer, and within the first 10 minutes of meeting her, I was like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with her, and I was like, oh my god, this is a crush. And then in that moment of realizing I had a crush on a girl, I was like, any feelings I thought I ever had for a man, immediately I was like, oh my god, that's not real. Oh my god, this is like how you're actually supposed to feel with a crush. It's not supposed to be in your head, you're supposed to feel it. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gay. Like all in like succession, all at once. It just like came over me like suddenly, and I crying. Not out of unhappiness, mind you. I was so relieved that I didn't have to spend my life with a man that I started crying. I want to know more about your amulet necklaces. I know you always see the name on live, but I don't know how you spell that. My Towees. Let me grab it for you, actually. There's this one. This one is the one that I used to wear every day, but unfortunately the end fell off, so it can't hold any more amulets. This is the one that I've been wearing. This has several different amulets inside. I believe there are 3 made of pure silver, a fame amulet, another one for general protection, and then I have one more on the root of wormwood with an ancient magical ink, or myrrh ink, for favor and friendship, essentially. All of these spells are from the Greek magical papyri. This one is my favorite. It is so gorgeous. Look at that. I don't know how old it is. It's definitely an antique. I heard it was about 150 to 200 years old. Dr. Christopher Ferrone spoke about these small tubular metal capsules being used to hold amulets and talismans in the ancient world. They're still used today. What caves did I live in? One of my top tips for homelessness. Again, I don't know where this was. Somewhere between Colorado and Utah. I did get a lot of weird looks in Utah, mind you, in the way that I do. I think I had red hair at the time. You're pink. My top tips for homelessness, though. Honestly, couch surfing saved my fucking life. I'm gonna put on a little bit more blush. There's also LGBT groups, housing groups on Facebook, and I know Facebook, bro, right? But it did save my life for a while there too. I felt more comfortable staying with other women rather than a man. I would never suggest staying with a man. There's also, you know, like temples that you can stay in, not just the temple of Sekhmet, but like Hindu temples, Buddhist temples, Sikh temples. I don't know if they're called temples, but places like that you can generally stay for free, especially if you ask. They're very welcoming. Their whole thing is, especially the Sikh, to help people. That is my biggest recommendation. There was this app, I'm gonna put it right here, where you could find where restaurants were dumping food, so you could just go grab the food before it spoiled, and I used that all the time to be able to eat, because food was like really hard to get while I was homeless. I had to eat out of dumpsters a lot. You gave me a lot of questions here. No pressure to answer them all. Thank you. What are some hobbies I've dropped, and which ones do I want to get into? I used to do a lot of different hobbies. Embroidery, woodworking. I used to do paint murals, 3D rendering. I used to do a lot of digital art. I really want to get back into doing art, because that was like who I was growing up. I was like the art kid, you know? I did a lot of art. I just don't have a lot of free time to do art anymore. Oh, I used to make clothes. I used to sew clothes. Like, I did so much, and I just don't have the time to anymore. I still do write poetry and fiction for fun, though. I really enjoy writing. I actually have a book of poems I want to publish sometime soon. I know, YouTuber publishes poetry book. Groundbreaking. I would like to get back into carpentry. Interestingly enough, all of these skills from these hobbies I've had over the years, I've incorporated into my sorcery work now. Like, I have to carve statues by hand and like tools and stuff, so the carpentry came in handy. Oh, soldering and like metalworking too, actually, so came in handy. What was my experience like growing up with evangelicals? What did I specifically believe in at the time? It led to my deconstruction. Ooh, it took a lot for me to leave the church. I was so staunchly about Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. I was like very, 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 very Christian, because that's how I was raised, right? It's indoctrination. It really is. I never thought I would ever leave the church. I never thought I would get into witchcraft or paganism. Never, 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 never. My parents do ministry. They're not technically ministers, but they do ministry. They're chaplains. So I grew up going to church like multiple days a week. It was very hard for me. Around the age of 9 or 10, I started to remember some things, and I knew that my biological parents had done some terrible things to me and my siblings, and I talked to our priest about it. And I was just like, I know that Jesus tells us to forgive people, but I can't find it myself to forgive them. Am I going to hell? And he was like, they've already been accepted by Jesus Christ. Christ, they've been forgiven. You need to learn to forgive them just like he has. And I just couldn't accept that. After what they did to me, these other kids, sorry, I'm gonna like cry. I couldn't accept it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna suffer. But they've been forgiven, so I guess they're not going to hell. And I started to question, like, what kind of God would punish a child for not forgiving someone who abused them that deeply? The final straw for me, again, I think it was that same year. It must have been like 2009. My pastor was in front, like, doing a sermon, and he was like talking about how science isn't always accurate. Sometimes it's there to test our faith and how we need to trust in the Bible. I think he name dropped Bill Nye specifically. And at that point, I was just like, okay, this is stupid. Just like, I was like 9, maybe 10 years old, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I got up, I walked out, and I never went back. Okay. This is a lip combo I usually use. There's Max Snob and Rimmel Candy O2. Yeah, it was a hard time growing up like that. And my family didn't really accept the fact that I left the church. And when I converted to paganism, they got bad for a while. Favorite flower, animal, gemstone, scent. Favorite flower is a stargazer lily or the blue lotus. My favorite animal, cats. My favorite gemstone would be selenite. I fucking love selenite. My favorite scent is either oud or sweetgrass. I actually have this really nice sweetgrass perfume I got from the last powwow I went to. I use it very sparingly because I don't know when the next time I'll be able to go to a powwow now that I'm living in the Netherlands is. It just smells like home. It smells relaxing. Do I have any phobias? Yes. Spiders. So fucking bad. I will shriek like a little girl if I see a spider. It has to be a big spider though. Small spiders, I don't really care about that much. If it's any bigger than like that, I start to freak the fuck out. I can't control it. I've tried. I think spiders are objectively cute away from me. Far, far away from me. What is my ethnic background? I am Anishinaabe, Makwinindota, Mashkizibin, and Donjaba. So I am Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, from Bad River, Bear Clan. I'm also mixed. I mean, fucking clearly, most indigenous people are mixed today. Mixed with Italian/Greek. I don't know too much about that side of my family, to be fair. I just found out about it like 3-4 years ago, maybe. Family I do know is from Sicily and Palermo. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Please don't be mad at me, Italians. Out of all the places I lived, where did you sleep the most sound? I've never had a sound night's sleep. Why did my last situationship end? I did kind of skip over that one, huh? I don't mind opening up about my private life, but since it involves someone else who is more private than I am, I won't share too much, but it was just the distance between us. Long distance is very difficult, especially when it's different countries. What are my favorite makeup products / skincare? Literally, this is the one that I swear by. I want to swatch it for you guys, even though I didn't put any on today. Do I have a good brush here? I'm just gonna dab it. I've had this for 2 years, and it's almost still completely there. I swear by this stuff. Look, one swipe. Wow. Like fucking amazing, right? Was there a moment during your time living in caves, temples, or vans that gently shifted how you understand magic, freedom, or belonging? When I was homeless, I was so angry. Looking around and seeing people have homes, have so much, while you had nothing. It makes you bitter. It makes you so angry. The rage. It's you are presented with no other way out. Just right in front of you, the unfairness that exists in this life, like the extreme unfairness. Like you realize that people genuinely don't give a damn about each other either. Like there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, who claim to care, but at the end of the day, it's really just you trying to survive. And there's no other way around that very, very strong fact when you're living on the street like that, right? And I would walk around at night because it was unsafe to sleep on the street. So I'd walk around and I'd just look at people's homes and I'd see them. Sounds a little creepy, through their windows. You guys gotta close your damn curtains at night, by the way. I see them through their windows living their lives and they just don't care about who's struggling out there. Like, why would they? Why would they think about that? But I had to think about it because I was the one out there struggling. And it just wakes you up. It really wakes you up to realize that there's a lot of unfair shit in this world and it changes the way you see everything afterwards. I've never seen people who own homes. I've never seen landlords the same way again. I've never seen rich people the same way again. I harbor a deep, close to resentment, I would say, about that sort of stuff. Still, it sticks with you. And honestly, it does deepen your understanding and your compassion for people experiencing homelessness or going through issues like that. It can happen to anyone, and most homeless people are people who are mentally ill or war veterans or people with disabilities. A lot of foster kids and indigenous people, especially foster kids who aged out of the system or got kicked out. It's people who already had a lot of unfair situations in their life who just got thrown to the wolves. And the wolves would have more compassion, I think. Finding a sense of belonging after that was very hard. Things haven't been the same ever since, I'll say. It's hard for me to make friends nowadays because not a lot of people understand having to have lived like that. And you realize, even after making it out off the streets, that a lot of people around you would have been the same people who would have walked by and spat on you. Your friends, your neighbors, your parents are probably some of those same types of people, and you never look at people the same way again after that. How to become more independent and less afraid of doing things on your own. And thank you. It was very difficult moving here by myself. I'm still scared. I have an appointment in a couple days for the rest of my visa. I'm still terrified because if I have to go back to America, I'll be homeless again. I think a lot of my experiences in my life have helped me. I've been through an insane amount of really awful things, not just the homelessness. There's been attempted murder on my life. Like, I had to fight for my life. There have been a lot of really difficult points in my life, and I think after experiencing all of those, and especially the homelessness, repeated homelessness, like repeatedly losing everything over and over and over and over and over and over and over, it was easier for me personally to just move somewhere new and start over because I had already lost everything before multiple times. It was something I'm familiar with, starting over from nothing. And a lot of the time you have to do it on your own. I didn't have anyone move with me, and some people have their families move with them, which is nice. Sometimes there's just shit you gotta do on your own, and it's going to be scary. It took a lot of really horrible experiences to really make me overcome my fears. And it's still normal. It's natural to be afraid, right? That's a normal response, but can't let that fear stop you from living your life. For me personally, and this is something demons that I worship and work with have taught me, facing your fears head on is the best way to find success and happiness, because things that you're most excited about achieving and most wanting, like the biggest things you want to do in your life, are going to be the scariest. Any advice for practicing in the broom closet? Okay, so if you want to practice magic or paganism or whatever, and you have to hide it from family members who are not as open-minded or welcoming, I recommend practicing outside. You can have miniature altars, like in Altoid tins is what I used to use. Some people have like what they call digital altars. I don't know how I feel about that as a reconstructionist. I like being way more traditional, but I've seen some people do it, Practicing outside was a lifesaver for me though. I used to live near the woods and I just got there and practiced. Advice for coming to terms with the mistakes you've made. Ooh. No, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a former addict. I mean, you don't have eyebrows like this without doing that. It was hard for me to come to terms with the fact that I've done some shitty things, especially while I was in an active addiction, right? I guess part of the healing that though was really admitting to myself that I hurt people that I cared about, I still care about. It's gonna be hard, but you have to kind of own up like what you've done to really become like a better person, to take accountability for that. And it sucks. And sometimes, those relationships are just gone. That trust is just gone. How did I get into tarot? Which tarot cards do you feel the most drawn to? So I really prefer the Ethereal Visions tarot deck. I use that on a daily basis, but I've been wanting to get the Greek Magical Papyri tarot deck for a minute. And I also like collecting other ones, like fan-made ones. I would love it if there was like a Dexter tarot set, and I'm still looking for the Ozzy Osbourne tarot deck, okay? Fucking ask me why it's hundreds of dollars, okay? That and the Ouija board. I got into it when I was about 14 years old, so it's been about like 12, almost 13 years, I think. I don't know, I'm bad at math. So I was like a really anxious teenager. I still am very anxious. Like so bad, like I get like shaky like a chihuahua. Even before I was reading tarot, I was practicing caromancy. So that's wax divination over water, like where you melt a candle and it goes into the water and you read the shapes. I got into tarot though because it was pretty easily accessible and it gave me way more specific answers than caromancy. I thought I was gonna stop. It ended up becoming my job, which was surprising. I was going to college for anthropology and archaeology when I was 17, right? Like I never in a million years thought tarot reading would become my job. When you were at your lowest, what gave you the motivation to keep moving forward? Can I say most of my life is out of spite? I have lived a large chunk of my life out of spite. I got successful out of spite. At every turn in my life when someone told me I couldn't do something or I would never amount to anything, I still proved them wrong. I've lived so much of my life out of spite at this point that it kind of fuels me. Besides that, I guess it's also like the whole, what is it, like that sunk cost fallacy. I'm like, I've made it this far. I might as well keep going and see what happens. Not too bad. I'm gonna do a full face reveal in a second here. So Got that. Let me put on some of my bangles. I got like a bunch for my birthday. I love being clankly and jingly. Look, they're kissing. All right, and there we go. Yeah, so that is the look. Very early 2000s. I kind of wish I did the eyebrows a different shape, but I think it's pretty good. I hope everyone has a good day, and if you're new here to my channel, please subscribe. Think about joining my Patreon. You can join for free too, but I also have a $1 tier. And check out my merch line. I will show off the merch soon. It should be arriving. 100% of the profits go to my cousin Kane, an amazing artist who designed the line. All right, bum up, catch me on my next video.